What if I told you that approximately 90% of dog owners make daily errors that can significantly shorten their dog's lifespan without even being aware of it? These mistakes do not stem from a lack of care or neglect, but rather from common everyday habits regarding when, how much, and the specific manner in which they feed their canine companions. In this comprehensive guide, I am going to detail the 15 most frequent mistakes that can jeopardize your dog's long-term health. I encourage you to stay until the very end of this video, as I will demonstrate exactly how to avoid each of these pitfalls to ensure your pet thrives. Feeding your dog immediately before taking them for a walk is a practice you must pay close attention to, as it can lead to devastating health consequences. When a dog consumes a meal, the body naturally increases blood flow to the stomach to facilitate the complex process of digestion. If you force them to walk, run, or engage in physical exertion right after eating, you effectively interrupt this vital digestive process, which can trigger severe gastrointestinal issues. The most life-threatening of these conditions is gastric dilatation volvulus, which is more commonly referred to as bloat. This dangerous condition occurs when the dog's stomach fills rapidly with gas and then physically twists upon itself. Bloat can be triggered if your dog eats too quickly, consumes an excessively heavy meal, or participates in intense exercise shortly after feeding. The consequences are incredibly serious, ranging from extreme physical pain and visible abdominal swelling to a full-scale veterinary emergency that often requires immediate surgery to save the animal's life. While this is statistically more common in large breed or deep-chested dogs, it is a condition that can potentially affect any breed regardless of size. The solution to this problem is remarkably simple. Always schedule feeding times after the walk has concluded, never before. Ideally, your dog should be allowed to eat approximately 30 minutes after returning from their walk, both in the morning and in the evening. If for some specific reason they must eat first, you should wait at least 1 to 2 hours before allowing them to engage in any form of exercise. This small adjustment significantly reduces the risk of vomiting and unnecessary medical emergencies, while greatly improving your dog's overall comfort and digestive efficiency. Not controlling the speed at which your dog consumes their food is another critical error. Does your dog seem to inhale their entire meal in a matter of seconds? While it might look humorous or even impressive to witness, this is actually a very risky behavior. Bolting down food at high speeds dramatically increases the risk of choking, immediate vomiting, and, particularly in deep-chested breeds, the aforementioned gastric distension and torsion. When a dog eats too fast, they swallow significant amounts of air along with their kibble, leading to a buildup of gas and physical discomfort that turns mealtime into a frantic, anxious experience. The good news is that you can easily curb this impulse with a few straightforward changes to their routine. You might try using a slow feeder bowl designed with internal obstacles or maze-like patterns that force the dog to work for each bite. Alternatively, you can split their total daily food portion into 3 or 4 smaller meals throughout the day. Another effective method is to scatter the kibble across a clean floor, forcing them to hunt for each individual piece, or placing a large clean ball inside their regular bowl so they have to navigate around it to eat. Adding a small splash of water to the dry kibble can also encourage them to take more time to chew and swallow. Extending a meal from 30 seconds to 5 minutes may seem like a minor change, but it makes a massive difference in their health. Digestion is improved, anxiety levels drop, and mealtime transforms into a calm, positive experience for both you and your pet. Sharing table scraps without fully understanding the underlying risks is a common mistake made out of love. While offering a small portion of your own meal can feel like an act of affection, many human foods can cause severe health problems for dogs. These risks include sauces containing garlic or onion, cooked bones that can easily splinter and puncture the digestive tract, desserts containing the artificial sweetener xylitol, as well as grapes, raisins, and even chocolate. All of these items can be highly toxic to your dog, even when consumed in very small quantities. Even something as seemingly harmless as a piece of plain, grilled chicken breast can contain excessive amounts of salt or seasonings that can irritate a dog's sensitive stomach. It is certainly difficult to resist those pleading eyes when you're eating dinner, but you must ask yourself if it is worth risking their long-term health for a single bite of your food. The rule of thumb is simple. If the food was not prepared specifically with your dog's nutritional needs in mind, do not give it to them. Instead, keep safe, dog-friendly options on hand, such as plain cooked chicken breast, raw carrots, cooked zucchini, seedless apple slices, or treats specifically formulated for dogs. Avoid the habit of feeding them directly from the table and instead offer their treats in their usual feeding spot after you have finished your meal. Learning to say no at the right time is one of the best ways to protect them. Leaving food out for your dog all day, often called free feeding, may seem like a convenient option, but it actually creates more problems than you might realize. When a dog has constant 24-hour access to food, they begin to lose their natural biological sense of hunger and fullness. This lack of regulation often leads to unhealthy weight gain or inconsistent, messy digestion. Furthermore, if your dog happens to eat less on a particular day, you will have no way of knowing if they are feeling sick or if they simply grazed on their food earlier in the day. Perhaps even worse is the fact that on hot days, or when using wet food, leftovers sitting in a bowl quickly become a breeding ground for harmful bacteria and unpleasant odors. The fix for this is very simple. Establish set feeding times. Offer the appropriate portion of food, give the dog 10 to 15 minutes to eat, and then remove whatever remains in the bowl. Within just a few days, their appetite will naturally adjust to this schedule, and their digestion will improve. If you live in a household with multiple dogs, it is best to feed them in separate areas to prevent food stealing and the stress associated with resource guarding. Switching your dog's food too abruptly is a mistake many owners make when they find a brand that appears to be of higher quality. You might switch the entire bowl at once, thinking you are doing them a favor by improving their diet immediately. However, the following day, you are often met with vomiting, diarrhea, or a total refusal to eat, leading you to blame the new food itself. In reality, the problem is that your dog's gut microbiome did not have sufficient time to adapt to the change. A dog's digestive system becomes accustomed to specific ingredients, and when you change everything overnight, the system is thrown into disarray. To avoid this, you should perform a gradual transition over a period of 7 to 10 days. Start by mixing approximately 25% of the new kibble with 75% of the old food, and slowly increase the ratio of new food every 3 days. If your dog has a particularly sensitive stomach, you should stretch this process out over a few more days and avoid introducing any other new treats or foods during the transition period. With a little bit of patience, their body will adapt without any physical discomfort, and you will see their digestion improve day by day. Failing to provide fresh, clean water consistently is a major oversight. While food is obviously important, water is even more vital to a dog's survival, yet many owners do not give it the attention it truly deserves. A dog that is even mildly dehydrated may appear lethargic, produce dry stools, or have highly concentrated urine, which over time can lead to serious damage to the kidneys and urinary tract. Have you taken a close look at your dog's water bowl halfway through the day? It is often filled with drool, crumbs of kibble, or even a thin film of grime that encourages the growth of bacteria. Because of this, it is best to set up at least 2 different water stations throughout your home. You should wash these bowls daily with dish soap and refresh the water at least every morning and evening. If your dog primarily eats dry kibble, they will naturally need to drink more water, especially during the hot summer months. Overfeeding is a mistake that might seem minor in the short term, but over time, providing too much food leads to overweight conditions or clinical obesity. An overweight dog does not just move less, they are also significantly more prone to developing painful joint problems, heart disease, and diabetes. To prevent this, it is absolutely essential to measure the exact amount of food you provide each day. The feeding charts found on the back of kibble bags are a helpful starting point, but there is another factor to keep in mind: training treats. If you use treats for training throughout the day, you must adjust their main meal portions accordingly. For instance, if you give several treats during the day, you should subtract that caloric equivalent from their primary meal. Every single treat counts toward their daily total, and if you do not account for them, you will be providing far more calories than your dog actually needs. Do not ignore this mistake because a dog maintained at an ideal weight lives a longer and much higher quality life. Eyeballing food portions instead of using a precise measurement is a common habit that leads to health issues. We have already discussed why too much food is a problem, but providing less than what is required also takes a toll on the dog's body. When you guess the portion size, being just a couple of tablespoons short every day can eventually leave your dog with low energy levels, muscle loss, or a dull, unhealthy coat without you even noticing the gradual decline. Sometimes we assume our dogs are eating well simply because they leave nothing behind in the bowl, but they might actually be hungry and unable to communicate it. The solution is very simple. Always measure. Use a standard measuring cup or, even better, a digital kitchen scale, and refer strictly to the chart on the food bag based on your dog's current weight. If you notice they are becoming too thin or seem less energetic than usual, increase the portion by about 10% and monitor them for changes over the next 2 weeks. Measuring precisely is an act of real care. Not adjusting your dog's food intake to match their specific activity level is a frequent error. Two dogs of the exact same weight can have vastly different caloric requirements. A dog that takes a relaxed 15-minute stroll around the block does not need the same amount of fuel as a dog that runs, swims, or trains for hours every day. If you always provide the same amount of food regardless of their energy expenditure, you can end up with a sedentary, overweight dog or an active dog that is unable to recover properly from exercise. To determine if they are eating the correct amount, use their physical body as your primary guide. You should be able to easily feel their ribs without seeing them protruding. When looking from above, you should see a defined waist, and from the side, the belly should be slightly tucked up. If they begin to lose this physical definition, reduce their portion by about 10% for 2 weeks and then reassess. Conversely, if they are looking too thin or are engaging in a lot of extra exercise, increase the amount and check again after a few weeks. Adjusting food is not complicated. It is simply about matching energy intake to your dog's real-life activity. Feeding your dog only once per day is a mistake that many people make for the sake of practicality, but it often overloads the dog's digestive system. When a dog eats only once, their stomach is forced to process a massive amount of food all at once, which can lead to sluggish digestion or even stomach upset. Furthermore, for the remainder of the day and night, their stomach remains completely empty, which can trigger excess acidity and physical stress. Instead, feeding your dog twice a day, once in the morning and once in the late afternoon or evening, works much more effectively. Splitting their daily food into two smaller, more manageable meals helps the digestion process run more smoothly and keeps their energy levels much steadier throughout the day. Try this schedule for a week, and you will likely notice that your dog is calmer, more active, and has a much healthier appetite. Always feeding your dog from a standard food bowl is a missed opportunity for mental enrichment. While using a bowl is the easiest method for the owner, it removes something essential from the dog's life: the chance to think, explore, and have fun while eating. Before dogs lived indoors with humans, they spent a significant portion of their day hunting or foraging for their food. This natural process did not just keep them physically active, it also provided vital mental stimulation. In a modern home, food simply appears in a bowl and disappears in a matter of seconds. While this is acceptable, a dog that never has to work for their food can often become bored, frustrated, or anxious. Have you noticed your dog chewing on furniture, barking for no apparent reason, or appearing restless? Often this is not a sign of disobedience, but rather a sign of boredom. Fortunately, there are very simple ways to fix this. You can use interactive toys like a Kong Classic or a Kong Wobbler. You can hide kibble inside a snuffle mat or spread wet food on a lick mat so they have to work to get it. If you prefer not to spend money, there are many DIY options. You can roll kibble inside an old towel and let them figure out how to unroll it, or use a muffin tin and cover each cup with a tennis ball. Alternating these activities with regular bowl feedings will make your dog more focused, balanced, and active. For you, it only takes a few extra minutes, but for them, it turns a mundane meal into a daily adventure. Ignoring the actual ingredients listed on the kibble bag is a dangerous mistake. Choosing the right food is not about the brand's popularity or the price tag. It is about the nutritional value of what is inside. Many owners assume that a well-known brand automatically equates to high quality, but that is not always true. What really matters are the ingredients. Have you ever taken the time to read the label carefully? The very first ingredient listed should be a clearly identified animal protein, such as chicken, turkey, or salmon. If you see generic, vague terms like meat byproducts or meat meal, you should be cautious. These terms can include lower quality parts of an animal, such as feathers, beaks, or connective tissue. You should also look closely at the carbohydrate sources. If corn, wheat, or soy are among the first few ingredients, the kibble is likely filled with fillers that offer lower nutritional value. On the other hand, small amounts of whole grains like brown rice or oats are generally a good sign. High-quality kibbles will also include fruits and vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, or blueberries, which provide essential vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber. Another key factor is the type of preservatives used. You should avoid chemical preservatives like BHA, BHT, or ethoxyquin, which can cause health problems over the long term. Instead, look for kibbles that use natural preservatives like vitamin E or rosemary extract. It might feel overwhelming to analyze labels at first, but you only have to do it once to find the ideal food that will improve your dog's energy, digestion, and coat. Failing to adapt your dog's kibble to their specific age is a mistake that can affect their long-term health. A dog's nutritional requirements change significantly as they move through different life stages. A puppy, for example, requires a formula with higher levels of protein, fat, and minerals like calcium and phosphorus, which are essential for building strong bones and ensuring balanced growth. Ideally, you should keep a dog on a puppy-specific diet until they reach about 80% of their full adult size, which is usually around 1 year of age. Once your dog reaches adulthood or enters their senior years, their needs shift again. They require fewer calories to prevent weight gain, foods that are easier to digest, and specific nutrients that support their joints, heart, and kidneys. Have you noticed that many older dogs start to gain weight even if they are eating the same amount of food? This often happens because their kibble is no longer adapted to their slowing metabolism. Adjusting food by age is not a luxury. It is a fundamental part of responsible pet ownership. Not considering the benefits of home-cooked food is another common oversight. Many people believe that commercial dry kibble is the only safe option for dogs, but that is not entirely true. Long before commercial pet food existed, dogs survived on meat, bones, and natural leftovers prepared by humans. Today, more owners are returning to this concept because they want to provide something fresher, more natural, and completely free of artificial preservatives. Home-cooked food offers many benefits if it is done correctly. You have total control over the ingredients, you can avoid low-quality byproducts, and you can tailor the diet to your dog's specific health needs. However, it is not as simple as giving them leftovers from your own plate. Our food often contains sauces, seasonings, and fats that are perfectly fine for us, but can be very harmful to dogs. The key to home cooking is balance. You must ensure the meal includes high-quality proteins like chicken, turkey, or fish, along with small amounts of healthy carbohydrates like rice or sweet potato, and healthy fats for energy. You can also add safe vegetables like zucchini or carrots to boost their fiber and vitamin intake. If you plan ahead and use reliable nutritional calculators, you can ensure the portions are correct for your dog's size. If you are short on time, even combining a small amount of home-cooked food with a high-quality kibble can be a great practical option to improve their health and variety. Ignoring potential food allergies or sensitivities is a mistake that leads to chronic discomfort. If your dog is constantly scratching, licking their paws, suffering from recurring ear infections, or consistently has soft stools, the root cause may be their food rather than a skin condition. Food allergies do not always appear suddenly. They can develop over time, which makes them easy to miss. If you suspect your dog has a food sensitivity, the most reliable way to identify the problem is through an elimination diet lasting 8 to 12 weeks. During this time, you offer a single protein source they have never eaten before, such as duck or lamb, and a single source of carbohydrates while strictly avoiding all other treats or snacks. If their symptoms improve, you can then reintroduce ingredients one by one to identify exactly what was causing the reaction. If you are ever in doubt, Consult with your veterinarian to ensure you are conducting this process safely and in a balanced way. It is not just about stopping the itching, it is about finding and removing the cause. We have now reviewed the 15 most common mistakes people make when feeding their dogs. By making these small adjustments, you are providing your pet with the best possible chance at a long, healthy life. If these insights have changed the way you look at your dog's daily routine, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are dedicated to uncovering the history and health secrets that help our companions thrive. Let's cultivate a better future for our pets together. Our next guide to canine wellness will be opening soon.